everybody, how's it going? Today we are going to finally go over the Q&A questions that you guys wrote out for me. Again, thank you very much. This is, of course, in celebration of hitting that 800 subscriber milestone. Still a while to go before we hit 1,000, but that is definitely the next milestone, and of course that means a lot of cool stuff for the channel as well. So, I'll try to be more active. Hopefully, now that the lockdown seems to be in a more stable situation. I'm not sure what the state is quite yet. I haven't heard back when I'm supposed to go actually physically back into the office nowadays, but certainly a bunch of progress in that front. So we'll see how things go. I definitely thought that just being at home all the time would give me more free time, but it's kind of the opposite, right? Because that work laptop is there, and just making sure that you stop after a certain time has gotten a little bit more important, and just not thinking about doing things that's considered work, because while this is fun, there's still a lot of work and effort put into setting all of this up. So and again, just making sure I see all the comments, seeing the subscribers rise do also make me feel more confident that all the work effort that I do put in here is going to a good use, and hopefully I am helping out, and thankfully I've seen a lot of comments saying the same thing in there. If you do want to show your appreciation, I highly would love to see comments from you, because they do help me keep that motivation up to keep going. And hopefully, if you haven't subscribed yet, you do hit that button there to joining, because that of course is also a great progress meter for myself as well. Well, without further ado, let's begin the comments. I'm gonna start out with first the comments that were just here to say thanks. They didn't actually come around to ask any questions, but just wanted to say something. So of course I wanted to highlight those people first, because that is very much thankful. So Wilson AZ, congratulations Scott, and thank you for all your hard work creating all the handy charts for us. You're welcome. Of course, the charts, whether it's on here or I posted on ENG Monst, the Twitter account that does try to have all of those information up. It's not always easy to see things and figure out what they mean. Google Translate is certainly a nice helper, but if you can't do it through your phone, you don't know how to grab it from there, or you try to go to GameWith and try to use Google Translate there, it's not always the best. So hopefully what I do out there can actually help you, whether or not I post it on my YouTube channel, the Twitter account, or the Discord channel where I am active. Hanafi Light, sending lots of luck in getting 1,000 subs. Thank you very much. That is definitely my next goal, so hopefully we can get there sooner than later. Banman X, where would we be without you? What dedication. You brought so much value to us non-Japanese understanding players. You're welcome. Of course, I know you are always interested, and I know there's another question that you have later on, which we'll have to answer later. But yes, I know not many of you out there may speak Japanese. You may, but given the fact that I am at least knowledgeable enough in Japanese to help out, I'm more than happy to use my efforts to help you all out as well. Richard Folks, good job, Scott. You helped me a lot since Global was shut down. Yes, that was a sad time, and of course, this game is that much fun that it was worth restarting, replaying the game, and getting up to a state where, it is just a lot of fun. So for those of you who out there were the same and didn't have the advantage like I do of knowing Japanese, it is that fun of a game, right? So I am here to help you guys like you out, to keep playing. Lemon Tree, not a question, but thanks for the translations and rundowns you do. I would be extremely lost without them. Google Translate doesn't do its job well. Yeah, honestly, of course, no knock to Google for doing that amazing work to try and help you out, but there's just things that just don't translate by a machine very well. So the best you can do is somebody who has the context of the game plus the actual translations, and stuff like Jushinka or Chojushinsai, who literally do not have a translation, or stuff that's made up like Bakuzetsu, Gozetsu, right? We only have translations because we had an NA version. Gozetsu, it doesn't exist, so Well, I'm just gonna say Gozetsu. No, I mean that's also one thing that I've been trying to transition over is that now that we've spent so much time from NA, the block of people who actually had familiarity with those old terms is much more smaller, right? And so, is it actually worth it to say Chozetsu is an impossible quest? Because that really means nothing. Also, in game, you see Chozetsu, right? So, hopefully, for those of you out there who don't speak Japanese, I do want to try to transition into a point where I start using terms that's more in line with Japanese so that, you see it, you hear it, and are able to learn from that on your own. And, recognize it on your own. Because, that's really how I learned Japanese. And for the most part, Korean too, from my parents is like, my mom talked to me in Korean. My dad never actually talked to me in Japanese very much, but we watched Japanese and Korean TV a lot. And, I could see the cool thing about Japanese and Korean TV is that they tend to subtitle themselves, what's being said, right? So then, somebody saying something, I can see it being said there. So it's like, eventually I see the pattern come up and it's like, oh, I know what that means. That's Chozetsu. That's Seiko, right? Like you see certain things over and over again. It's like, oh, okay. And so hopefully that also happens in Monster Strike, right? Like you should start being able to see similar characters together, and then hopefully you understand, oh, that means that. That means that. Wait, I saw that. That sort of looked like that. Hopefully you guys can also start learning Japanese bit by bit. It may not be useful in real life, but at least for the game it'll be helpful. Jeffrey Rodriguez. I don't know why I never subbed earlier, but I've been watching since Kinky series that you made. Thanks for all the informative content you have put out. You're welcome. That's of course one thing I never finished. I did complete the Abyss, Forbidden Abyss. So I should have those videos somewhere to finish, but I've never gotten around to that. Maybe I should pick those up and finish those off. And especially since times have changed since the first, run through, it also may be worth just redoing everything one more time for 2020. So maybe not this session, but maybe in the upcoming month I will try doing that, because it's certainly something I should finish, as well as some other projects that I told myself that I wanted to do. So again, thank you all for the nice comments. Really do appreciate it. And we'll move to the next section, which is actually Animal Crossing related. I got about 5 questions related to that. First one we got from Kat is, please give us some tips on how to be in the right place in Animal Crossing. Thanks, and congratulations on reaching 800 subscribers. Well, I'm not really sure what you mean by being in the right place, but it's just all about being aware of what time certain things happened, right? Like the shop closes at 9, or the tailor Able Sisters Tailors closes at 9 p.m. and the store closes at 10 p.m. I think, something like that. And so making sure you're able to go in there, and then just making sure you find the temporally available characters. So whether you see, CJ the Fisher dude, Flick for the bugs, or Celeste at night to see if you can get some more recipes. Wisp or Gulliver. Just make sure you're aware of those temporal events, and you're there to check if they're around or not. And for time traveling, I don't touch it at all. I think it's fine that they try to gatekeep some events, with the time. It may be a little frustrating, especially if you're moving things around, or you're just starting the game when you're starting to build up your town. But at least for me, when it was first starting out, everybody was in that same state. For people out there who are catching up, I can certainly understand wanting to skip forward to do that. And especially if you're trying to get your perfect set of villagers, speeding up time to do that is fine. And the staff has already said, well, in the past, I think they may have said it's a form of cheating, but now it's just like, well, that's how people play. That's fine. So I think it's fine. Just be careful about ending up having your turnips getting rotten because you time travel. Marusei Japan, name a couple of villagers that are on your island, and I think David also asked about an island tour. So to do that, I took a shot of my island right now. I don't have any way to capture you know, the game stream from my Switch. You know, I haven't bought an Elgato or anything, so without any you know, any extra equipment like that, I don't think I can do anything. And I certainly don't have any intent to buy it because I just don't feel like I want to, you know, I'm not gonna be taking video of me playing games on my Switch and trying to upload it on my channel. So yeah, sorry. But as you can see here, here is my island setup. My current list of villagers is Renee, Apple, Pico, Colton, Claudia, I think. Got Bertha, Pecan, shoot, what was the koala's name? Can't remember. Zucker and Sky. My first two villagers were, I still have Renee, but I let Rod go, the mouse, in exchange for Zucker, the takoyaki dude there. And recently I just let Jacob, you know, the bird, go for Sky there, that wolf in the bottom right corner. So I haven't had too much turnover, but you know, I'm likely gonna see if, you know, if Bertha or Claudia decide to move out. I would certainly be happy to see what new not monsters, new animals will be joining my island. And as you can see on the right, you know, I've got a paved road to all the shops there, and the two houses on the right were my two starting villager locations. So and that's all filled with apples on the right side. And around the town hall is just a bunch of peaches. And then you see the little lake, and then to the left is where my home is. You know, I've got a nice little fenced off area. And just on top of me is the museum. And then on the left is where all of the rest of my villagers have been all packed into. Of course, I got Pico on the second level just because I really do like her a lot. And of course, Apple is in a special place there on the top middle part of the map. Ironically, Apple is currently surrounded by oranges. Don't ask why that happened that way, but everywhere else it's just flowers. I've got, you know, the wind flowers on the left of Apple's house, as well as some tulips, some mums. Everything is just flowers everywhere. Trying to get, you know, those rare colors by hybrids. And also on the top right is where the pears are. And the where is my cherries? I forget where I put my cherries. Oh, the cherries are on the campsite on the right. Yeah. So, you know, all of my trees are just concentrated right now, and you know, I've actually been thinking about just tearing a bunch of those, you know, fruit areas down to try and do something more creative, but haven't gotten around to do that quite yet. And oh, you can see on the top left where you know, Judd, not Judd, that's Splatoon. The fox, you know, with the fake paintings and all of that. I have a nice little waterfall area. I don't know, actually thinking about it, I can take like those 30-second videos on the Switch, so maybe I'll do that next time. If you guys are interested. But yeah, it's nothing too fancy, no real themed areas at all. It's just like it's there and flowers, just to try and get a bunch of colors out there. And let's see, also David posted back later, you know, if you want to tour my island Animal Crossing and make a video, we can make it happen. Well, I appreciate the offer. Like I said, I really don't have anything to capture on my side, so I wouldn't have anything to take. And you know, I really don't want to put the burden on, you know, having you take the video, send it over, and you know, there would be no reason for me to just re-upload that. So while it is appreciated, it's not necessary, but thank you. I do appreciate it. Okay, so let's switch over to the etc. So questions that Do not relate to Monster Strike. And let's get that started. So, Weezier 3000. I usually don't comment on anyone's video very often because I just like keeping to myself, but I really do appreciate the time you put into making these videos, Scott. You have really saved me from a lot of Google mistranslations. Lol. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all your hard work. Okay, on to the question. If you had the chance, would you travel to the past to see how things actually were back then, or travel to the future to see how things will be, and include a reasoning? Well, my answer would be I would definitely go future. I am very interested to see what kind of technological advances that would be possible for humanity. We get a lot of cool stuff, coming out right now, and of course, there's a lot of stuff that people have predicted in the past about the future, such as like Back to the Future, right? And a lot of that stuff hasn't actually happened. Well, some of them they did get right. Stuff. What can we do with technology is video conferencing, of course, is a thing that they got right. But can you do stuff like with holograms, or can you enhance things better with the VR, right? Like VR's in a okay state, but it certainly could be nicer and more accessible. It's really from a technological point of view, right? Like we just have all this cool stuff that we are moving forward on. How much more advanced can that be, and how awesome is it? Whereas in the past, it's just that's a clear regression of technology to a point where it didn't exist, right? And so while historical events to see if things actually happened the way that the books talk about it would be interesting, I just think personally, especially since how much technology is being relied on, is how things would look in the future that way. So that is my answer for that. Thank you for the question. HMA, congrats, Scott, and thank you for all your efforts. What would you suggest to watch, play at stay-at-home period? Well, one thing that I did clean up and bring into, back into play is Dragon Quest Builders 2. I actually stopped that very early on, like not even a third of the way through, and just playing that and trying to go through the storyline again. I've spent a lot of time the last few days, weekends, after work hours, just playing that again. And it is a lot of fun. And, that's just one thing about Minecraft that made it a little bit difficult for me to get into, is that the storyline wasn't actually there. Sure, there was a boss, but it was hard to do things to go forward. Whereas in Dragon Quest Builders, you have the same style of creative play, but there is a storyline to push you along to do things. Make this blueprint. The blueprints are a lot of fun for me. Being able to do that, follow these instructions to make this cool thing, do this so that you can get that next creative item to build or to craft. A lot of fun. As for YouTube channels, one thing that I have gotten on is Sudoku puzzles, and there's one channel, Cracking the Cryptic, if you haven't heard of that, where they start taking Sudoku puzzles with a twist on them. And so it's not just like filling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a little twist on them where it's like, in this quest, there's numbers outside of the grid, and that indicates the sum of the numbers sandwiched between 1 and 9. Or they have little thermometers there where if you see this thermometer, all the numbers are strictly increasing along that line. And these tweaks on the Sudoku puzzle, which I definitely loved doing back in the past. My parents were all about those number sum puzzles too, and so like we would always get a book of those puzzles, and then whenever we would fly for trips or go on a road trip, just bust those out, because back then you really didn't have any portable gaming devices. So what could we do there? Well, just bust out the puzzle book and start doing that. And when I found this channel, it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize that Sudoku could have these kind of like twists to it. And basically every day now, ever since finding their channel in the stay-at-home period, I'm just really excited. And it comes out like almost at lunchtime, so at work it's just like I start making my lunch and then put on that video and see this British dude solve a difficult Sudoku puzzle. It's really fun. So I really recommend checking out that channel if you're interested in that sort of thing. And of course, Monster Strike, Kotodoman, I've had a lot of fun with, and of course, Yuna's on air for my Hinatazaka Keikizaka song needs. Alright, next, Madram CEO, do you have a girlfriend? You seem nice. Well, that's very nice, but no, I do not. Enough said there. Bura Sakura, where are you from? Are you interested in Japanese idols, other bands such as Group 48, Equal Love? I know I follow you from Yuna's on air. I try to play master level but unsuccessful. It's too difficult for me. Do you have any suggestions? I am from California, born and raised, and basically have lived here my whole life. Started in SoCal, Southern California, moved up here to Northern California after graduating from Berkeley. California guys, all my life. Maybe you can tell from my accent. I don't know. It's always hard to tell what a Californian accent is there, but I know it exists. So if it sounds like that, well, there you go. Maybe there is a sign. Japanese idols, yes, but not much beyond Hinatazaka. I never really was interested in idols as a group, as a whole in the past. I will say I was very interested in Sashihara Rino, but that's only because of her personality and back in the day, when she had Sashiko no Kuseni, that was really my eye-opening moment, and we're like, oh, she is a hilarious character. And of course, Tsuchida Teruyuki, he's one of the MCs for Keikizaka, Keikite Kakenai, right? He always had an awesome, I don't know what his humor style is, just very different from everybody else, right? Like, he would be the one that, like, when everybody's just like, standing up like, and then like making a motion, he'd be the only one sitting down, right? Like, he would be very, it's a very deadpan-y style of comedy, but when he laughed, it'd just be like this breaking moment for him, right? And so, I loved him, and then just having those two characters mashed together, and really, I am convinced that he is the reason why Sashihara is so successful right now, right? Being able to craft Sashihara from the beginning and just making sure that she realized that, variety isn't a joke, right? Like, there's all of these comedians there who have spent years of their lives making sure that they can do it, only to have some idol come about and just treat it as if it's nothing is completely wrong. And just hammering that in her at the very beginning and basically growing her into this beast right now that she can handle anything variety related, I feel like, including after her scandal, the way that she was able to handle that, turn it that 180 and then slam dunk her career with that is just amazing. And she's on commentary shows, she's on like Ariyoshi Hansekai and all these really amazing shows and holding her own. And if I see her in the cast list, that's like a guarantee watch for me. That's how much I love watching her and just seeing just pure awesome variety content. But you know what? Sorry to go back to the main point. Other idols, no, there's no other group that I have ever been in the past or currently interested outside of Keikizaka and Hinatazaka. And of course, I started with Keikizaka because of Max Murai. He did his dancing video doing Fukyo-Aon, or first was Silent Majority, then Fukyo-Aon. And then that was like, oh wow, this is a really interesting dance routine. I actually should see what the original group was. And then it's like, oh, okay, this is amazing. And then I started watching Keikite Kakenai. And then, around when I started getting into it, that's when the Hiragana Keiki group was already there. And, oh, this is an interesting group. And, of course, that's where I was introduced to the awesome character Saito Kyoko, who had low voice, cute face, loves ramen. That's like, wow, this is an amazing character. And not only can she sing, can she dance, you know, being able to do the cutesy idol stuff too at the same time. That's the full package that I love seeing. And variety skills. Now, unfortunately, that's what swapped me from Keiki to Hinata. Or then Hiragana Keiki. Because clearly there's some deficiencies there in the Keiki group. And I hate to say that, but I think you guys can admit that the variety skill between the two groups highly swings to Hinata. So, when I started seeing that, the few episodes where you did start seeing Hinata, the Hiragana Keiki girls, just like, this is nice. And so slowly shifting over. And then, when finally they got their own show and could actually explode with their content, then it's just like, okay, yeah, you know what? I am on Hinatazaka, and this is an amazing... Because like I said, it's the same reason why I like Sashihara, right? Like, that variety skill is very important for me to actually enjoy watching on TV, right? Like, I can't go to any of the lives. So, singing skill, dancing skill, that's great, but that really doesn't matter. I care how you act on TV. And, being able to have variety skills means you get to be on more TV. Other comedians and other shows are actually wanting you on, so there's a better chance of seeing you in more TV shows, get more famous. It's great. And that feels like the path that Hinatazaka is on, that they've got very key players, in the entertainment world, where they are impressed with not only their manners, their the way that they present themselves, and just their budding variety skills, right? We've got Nibu-chan, who's excelling in Ariyoshi with her gaming skills, right? She's getting called back for a remote session on the next month's episode. We've got a subset of groups coming into Uchimura's show for Toppa File, right? They have a regular appearance there, which is great to see. Ariyoshi, Tsuchida, Sawabe, Odori, of course, who again has really grown these girls into an amazing variety skilled set of talents, right? It's just really great to see, and hopefully they bud into something amazing. With December, we've got the live at the Tokyo Dome, which is an amazing feat. And while they say after that's their second year anniversary, we know that there's 3 more years that they've had in the Hiragana Keiki group. So this is a 5-year achievement, right? It's not just a 2-year thing, although many people will frame it that way. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna split here since I'm at the 30-minute mark almost. So the second half will just be Monster Strike questions. So yeah, if you are interested in seeing that second part, do make sure to hit subscribe, and the bell will let you know when that video is up. So hopefully I didn't miss anybody who answered asked a non-Monster Strike question. If I did, I apologize, and let me know, because I'll double check and add that later in a separate video. But I'm pretty sure I saw that there were 29 and I copied the 29 down. So hopefully I didn't lose anything along the way. So otherwise, look forward to the next video, which is going to be full of Monster Strike related questions and answers. And thank you for watching. And until next time, bye bye.